Alright, today I want to talk to you guys about a useful feature in Excel. It's naming cells. Now, normally if you look at your cells, you look up here, this cell is D1, this cell is D2, and all of them are kind of automatically named and referenced. Now, that works fine, and that's adequate in pretty much any circumstance. However, if you want your stuff to be more intuitive or easier for somebody else to read, you can actually name cells names that make sense. For example, this cell is a KA value, so I could actually go up here to my name box. I can click this and type in KA and hit enter, and it actually names this cell KA. Now the nice thing about that is I can now use that and reference it that way. I can say equals minus log KA and change that to the number format. And there you go. Now you can see my formula reads in a much more, rather than saying minus log B1, it says minus log KA, which, you know, somebody from the outside looking at it would think that makes a lot more sense. So you can name your stuff and then reference it this way. A couple of things to keep in mind. When you name, you can actually name entire ranges of things, and we won't get into that, but that's a handy thing for you to explore if you want to take a look at that. But in this particular case, I only want to name one cell. Now, anytime I reference this, if I copy it, the cell reference doesn't change because KA is always this cell. It never changes. So it's not like another reference like B1 where if I copy it down, it goes to B2, B3, B4. It always stays as KA. Now, if you name a range of cells, you can actually do some interesting things where you do change the reference as you go, but we're not going to get quite into that. A couple things I want to warn you about when you're naming cells. You know, you can name things anything you want to, most anything, I think. But I usually try to stay away from things that are normal Excel functions. Like, for instance, if I wanted to, for some reason, name this sum, I could go up here, SUM, and it'll let me name it that. And, you know, but then it's just, I don't know, it's kind of odd. I steer clear of that because you don't want to create confusing things. I could use it. I could say equals, and I can start typing in sum, and you'll notice it's got the Excel function sum, and it's got the cell reference sum. So I could pick that cell reference sum, and I could use it. I mean, it's there. However, I tend to steer clear from those if I know about them. You may not know all the functions in Excel, so you might accidentally type over some, but I tend to stay clear of that just to eliminate confusion. But just something to watch out for. Not a huge deal. And if you guys have any questions, you can always feel free to just send me an email. Thanks.